was unpredictable, and ROX back on the blue side. The series so far has gone blue side, so let's see what ROX wants to do. And if they're banning Aurelion Sol first round, I could definitely see a Zilean in the second round if mid lane isn't taken earlier by Longzhu.
All right. Well, LeBlanc banned away. We'll see what Longzhu wants to do this time around. If you guys didn't see game one, it was the LeBlanc, Camille, and then Varus bans on red side. So Rengar was able to be picked up by Songwon, who we weren't sure how much prowess he would show on that champion, but came out pretty well.
Wasn't necessarily a superstar performance, but did the job.
Zyra will follow up.
Yeah, the big adjustment here is that Aurelion Sol was purely a blue and red side second round of draft ban, and the fact that it's been promoted to first round changes things. Speaking of changing things, okay, the options here are that Tigers look for a swap by not banning either of Camille or Rengar, or they ban one and force Longzhu to ban the other. Those are the options available to them. Varus, the other champion that certainly could be contested, so maybe a blue side Varus ban, but then they could lose too. So it's interesting how this goes.
Gonna ban Malzahar. All right, so they're gonna go ahead and play ball.
And now I think, honestly, you don't ban either, and you take two, because you can get Varus and another champion on red side.
That's true. Get a lot of power, so you could get, Varus Camille or Varus Rengar.
You could just do something wacky like ban Corki, which Mickey has been playing 7 times already this season. Let's see what they decide to do. Yeah, they leave up both. So they ban away another champion Mickey likes to play, and now Tigers have to choose. It's not an easy choice at all. So only one of the trio has been banned. Camille, Rengar, Varus have been perennial bans or first picks. The story increasingly was Varus over Rengar. So very surprising if Longzhu gets Varus, which is Prey's best performing champion this season, and Camille. That's so much over to Longzhu.
Well, it looks like they're going to go ahead and get it because they're going to lock in the Rengar for Songwon. So Camille, the no-brainer, and you would have to expect this to be Varus for Prey.
I mean, why not? I just don't see any reason not to. Still a flex pick. We've seen it in mid lane in LPL earlier today.
So much power.
But I think Longzhu won this first round trade hands down. That's the thing you can do. You go for the second round, not banning one of the two, and then Tigers make the decision. They're like, okay, are we going to ban away and ensure that we either get one or get none, or in this case, give over two, which is a lot over to the side of Longzhu. Tigers maybe doing the move that KT pulled earlier today and picking the Maokai into the Camille. That's not really about Maokai. It's more about how you play around an obvious pressure point lane for Longzhu, and that didn't go so well with the Shen in the previous game.
No, it did not. They will lock in the Maokai. Now looking to get their AD carry before the bans can come through from the second round and pinch the pool of Songyun. So Ashe looking like it is going to be the choice, so they go ahead, they lock that one in, so won't be seeing the Sivir yet again.
All I want in the world is Corki Ivern taken for Longzhu. It's not going to happen. I'm not allowed any Ivern, only one Ivern. It was
pretty worth.
It was great. Honestly, Score played it wonderfully. Said he watched EU LCS and thought it was pretty good, but sadly no one else from Korea is watching EU LCS. No more Ivern, sad day.
Everyone's watching Faker.
It's true.
Kha'Zix coming through yet again for Crash, and very good performance in game 2. And Echo will still be the mid lane ban, so Rise Echo taken away from Mickey. Corki still available, but we could see that snatched up.
Zilean also, and it will be banned away. So this is what I expected. When Aurelion Sol was promoted from second round ban to first round ban, it said to me double mid lane pocket pull ban for Fly. And you have to think Longzhu's going to take Corki if it's available. What I'd heavily imagine. Cassiopeia, the other power mid laner who's available right now. And there's always that threat of the Zed, Achilles. This is not a bad time for a Zed at all.
That's true. It might just be do or die time. Have to go for something a little zany.
A lot of physical damage if they went for it, so you can understand if they don't, but it would be hype to see Mickey back on the Zed. Cassiopeia makes a lot of sense also, though, so we probably will be denied lethality buffed 7.2 Zed from Mickey.
Sad boys. But the Thresh actually coming through for Key. So this was something that Longzhu actually banned away in the second round in game 1. So we will get to see this on display. So likely something that's come out of his solo queue and scrims.
On his day, a fantastic skill shot player. We've seen his prowess on the champion, Bard most famously. Now back over to Longzhu. They have no tank, so something like a Braum or a Tahm Kench will make a lot of sense here. Gorilla used to be a Tahm Kench enthusiast, but certainly has moved away from it.
And it will be the Braum, so going to be taking the melee support down bottom. See if he has a better performance this time around than Key did in game 2 there. Thought maybe we would see something like the Nami come through for the range support, but wants to go with something a bit beefier.
But he's the only beef. There is no other beef on the lineup. Sure, Camille will build some tanky items eventually. Could say the same thing about Kazis. But let's be real. Another Siege comp, but a 4-1 comp from Longzhu Gaming. They get the Camille ahead. It can be a repeat performance of game 2, but if they fall behind, it's probably going to be more of a repeat performance of game 1. So
yeah,
we'll see if it is the greatest hits or the breakup single for the ROX Tigers in this game. From this series, at least, where it's pretty balanced stuff over on the side of ROX Tigers.
I'd hope it was that it's not going to be the breakup hit because they already had that.
I know, they've kind of pulled that one already, right?
Yeah, don't need that one again. You say the words breakup around the owner of the ROX Tigers, he's probably just like, no, not again.
Have contract, have contract. Those can be broken.
Terms not done. Oh dear. All right, well, rough spot for both of these teams. They both desperately want to pick up the win, especially for ROX Tigers, who need to be climbing the rankings at the moment, still sitting in that 8th place spot underneath of MVP. So this would help them start moving up a bit. Even a win would still not push them above MVP, so they'd still be sitting in 8th, but a win is better than nothing.
I will say, first round of the drop heavily won when it comes to priority picks by Longzhu Gaming. With these picks, specifically the Camille and the Varus, this could be the snowball victory that was denied from them in game 1. So expectations high for Longzhu, but ROX, very solid lineup, and Key on the Thresh. He won an MVP on it already this season. He could pop off once again.
All right, we'll see if he's able to do that. We'll keep our eyes on Expression on this Camille yet again. Let's go ahead, get into our third and final game of the night. Longzhu versus Tigers, game 3. All right, here we go. Prey already showing off that accuracy. Trying to chunk out Key. We'll be able to send him back, but he'll be able to return to lane before it's very impactful. And of course, the Longzhu fans out here shouting as loudly as their lungs will allow.
But not being heard by the players. We've got our sick booths, Achilles.
That's true.
Look at all that love.
You just hear a little rumble.
Love is in the air. It's not long before Valentine's Day, of course.
Yeah, just a couple days away on Tuesday.
All those hearts around.
What are your Valentine's Day's plans, Papa Smithy?
That's a good question. I'll leave that one close to the vest for now.
All right. Well, if you need something to do, you let me know.
Oh. I can only think of EU LCS references right now.
We don't have a kiss cam, so I can't do that. But I can fight you.
We basically have a cringe cam, which is whenever we catch someone, they have to hide desperately as fast as possible.
No, my face!
I'm not on eSports. You are, damn it.
If you walk into the studio, you should expect to be on camera at some point. Meanwhile, NA, LCS and EU guys, they ham it up.
Western fans do like being on camera.
Remember we had the that guy at IEM Oakland who just was dabbing constantly, very rapidly every time. There's a guy that I kind of felt bad for him. There's this young kid, like 12 years old maybe, on the CS:GO major that dabbed while he's on camera, and the entire audience booed him.
Booing 12-year-olds, classy.
It's like, man. It's like, I agree with it, but not with a 12-year-old.
What's wrong with like a Bronx cheer or an ironic cheer? Why do we have to boo?
I don't know.
Not a big fan of booing at events.
Sometimes people are mean.
It's true. I get why it happens, but doesn't mean I have to like it.
Yeah. All right, well, seems like slow and steady as she goes for the start. Crash pushing forward. If only he had knowledge that Songwon was sitting in the brush. Quite low. He's going to jump forward. Gets that, but now Crash flashing away from the poison. Mickey's going to chase
They're going all in on this.
He's got the exhaust. He's going to get a bit of damage in, but now Fly pinching in, and Gorilla has roamed up the lane. Looks like everything is just going to explode right here in the river. Mickey going low.
So
Can
low.
it be the first blood? Prey, he gets locked up. Flashes away out to safety, but Fly will go down, but not before Gorilla is able to kill Mickey for the first blood.
Whoa.
Big blast cone taking Crash and Prey out. TP comes through from Expression. Can he get anything done? It's flayed backward, now slowed up by the Ash arrows coming through. Gorilla, the Q, not going to connect. Songwon goes back forward. Expression is able to take the hook shot out to safety. A 1-for-1, one hell of a messy fight, but first blood still goes to Longzhu.
You don't often see the 3.5-minute war, but that's exactly what we got, Achilles. So you're right, Longzhu slightly ahead, but
barely.
You have to look at things like minion waves, and because they're both in the middle, that's about as even a 3.5-minute fiesta as you could ever hope for. Big investment by Mickey. Flash exhaust to look for the kill, even though his bot lane should have been able to communicate that Gorilla was going to get there first. And everyone falls so low. You think for sure first one to come in. Gorilla picking it up isn't ideal in terms of kill distribution either. That ended up being a massive blast cone.
Yeah.
To spare any more lives from the side of Longzhu, so it could have been worse from a Longzhu perspective for certain.
Yeah, but, I mean, like you said, getting the first blood over onto Gorilla, not the best allocation, but at least it came in before Songwon was able to pick up the kill onto Fly, because giving that extra burst of gold over to the Rengar makes for sad times if you're Longzhu. Especially now, it's a massive wave to pick up, and that'll give him a considerable CS lead as long as he can last hit properly under the turret.
Looking forward to tracking whether we see the same skill order from Expression for now, 2 points into the tactical sweep, so maybe he does just prefer to max Q last and go for WE like he did. I thought that was maybe indicative of the matchup against the dodge field of Shen. More information required to fully get a picture there.
All right, well, Prey coming back in. He's got the double longsword with the Tear of the Goddess, so we'll be stacking that up steadily.
So 7 flashes in that last fight.
It was a bit of a mess, that's for sure, but hey, it helped wake me up a little bit here as we are encroaching on 11 p.m. territory.
It's not Jin-Air time yet, Achilles.
I call that an energy fiesta. Reinvigorates, rejuvenates.
Don't worry, we're both powered by Hot 6 today. We'll be fine.
If we were the Apex League, be re-energized.
But we're not.
We're
Feels
not.
bad, man.
Those other guys cast that.
Who?
I don't know.
It's the name of a sandwich. Name of a sandwich.
Yeah, that's right.
Cuban.
Club.
Mark Cuban.
Yes.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Nailed it.
Mark Cuban.
Mark Cuban. That's a sandwich. Cuban. Yeah, got it. The other one? It's a fighting game franchise. Tekken. Mark Cuban and Tekken. That's it.
Yeah, there we go.
Nailed it.
Got it. They're an alright duo.
I've heard good things. Reddit doesn't seem to like them recently.
Yeah. Oh, boy. Well, just going to be trading in the bottom lane. Nothing too exciting happening here. Prey just piercing arrow. Oop.
Whenever Prey's, I almost said Mark Cuban. Whenever Prey's playing the Varus, I get very excited because if you remember the last time out, he was just chunking people left, right, and center. His accuracy on the Varus is very reminiscent of his Ashe, so his archers clearly are his champion pool. Ashe, Varus. Jin's not really an archer, but good enough. Very, very reliable online skill shots. Great Ezreal player as well. They're going
Dark
for a
Passage
big
coming
play
in.
here.
Yeah, they get the hook in onto Gorilla.
No flash.
Play him back.
Flash
Exhaust
up,
come through. They try to lock up Gorilla here. Heal will come out from Prey.
Someone
taking the turret shots. Prey, can he get one more arrow off? Not going to be able to find it. Almost went completely sideways for the ROX Tigers. Had to invest 2 of their summoner spells into that.
But they're so steadfast. Gorilla had flash up, didn't use it. The heal was enough to bait them in. Couldn't quite turn it around. Longzhu did hit 6 in that interaction, so we'll have ult, but time for Crash to invade. Good stuff from Longzhu, good reaction from Crash, although he's low.
Whoa.
That was out of context.
Yeah, that's a bit interesting to see. Meanwhile, Crash gonna get jumped on. Blast code straight into the flash. Linderong locks him down with the twisted advance. And that's gonna be double buffs handed over to Mickey.
0 to 100 for the
dear.
ROX Tigers Achilles.
What happened in bottom lane?
It must have been an overstay. Prey doesn't have flash, so...
They killed Mark Cuban. Oh boy, all right, we'll get another look at this one.
Well,
so.
I imagine he hit 6. No, he didn't actually. Key just decided he really wanted to get a sick hook on.
Yep, there we
go.
go.
And he did. This is why it was banned earlier. Not many people are still playing the Thresh. Linderong, I guess, was just out of flash range, with the flash guaranteed that Crash wouldn't have enough reaction time to stop him from being rooted. Nice pickup, and now Mickey double buffs casually in the mid lane.
And that's going to be such a fast tier stack because he can just continuously spam out those spells. He'll get the healing coming through as well, so he can stick around in so many different ways. Fly does have the package, can clear out this ward first and foremost. Be still very bold of him to go in for a play without that sheen. He's got the Hex Drinker, so he's got a bit more sustain.
Just complete the thought around top lane. ROX Tigers showed a lot better communication than I would have expected. They predicted that Crash would invade as a consequence of seeing the Rengar chunked out, and that was with really good collapses. Fly emphatically tells everyone he's definitely doing Infernal Drake.
Yep. Oh, flash over the wall here from
want
Songwon.
this.
Yeah, he takes a big chunk of damage. The Boss Bomb comes through, Piercing Arrow connects as well. But
Here's
Game
more.
not going to lock up anybody. Gorilla, though, he gets hooked, he gets flayed, he will go down. Mickey comes up with the kill, and looks like they're going to take away the blue buff as well, so he'll get a nice little reset. But Infernal Drake did go over to Longzhu. They had to pay for it with Gorilla's life.
Mickey went for the "Here's Johnny" moment on the Shining, flashing over on Cassiopeia, but the exhaust was enough, didn't get any bonus kills, only ends up mopping up a low-health Gorilla who flash wasn't enough to get out. So probably not worth the investment from Mickey, but emphatic stuff. He's playing with confidence, which was definitely not guaranteed after ROX lost that game too. So we're able to move forward, keep persisting. ROX certainly have the lead after the nice collapse in bot lane, and Key showing us another one of his creative players in bot. There's a reason why he's respected for these playmaking supports.
You make that reference, but I have to ask, because you're you, have you actually seen The Shining, or do you just know that line?
What do you mean by sin?
Have you watched The Shining beginning to end?
No. I've watched most of The Shining. I've watched upwards of 50 minutes of The Shining. I caught it on the TV. It already started.
I don't think that that is most of The Shining.
How long is The Shining? Can't be that long.
I don't think 50 minutes is too much of that
I
film.
bet it's less than 2 hours.
We shall see.
All right, I'll take the reins then, Achilles, while you go wildly off topic, or maybe on topic center, hard to say. Watching the ward clear wards here in the ROX Tigers' favor. Whenever you have as many control wards, which honestly is a very nice vision line from ROX. 1 control ward to the bottom and 2 in the enemy jungle. Means that they have a lot of pick options, and Key with the fast Moby boots gives them good roaming. 3-man unit now for ROX Tigers. No objective to take, so I don't really know what they're hoping to find a pick around, but...
2 hours, 25 minutes.
Okay, well there you go. You got me. I was also estimating wildly, so... I feel like I've seen most of the Shining. I saw the end of it as well.
Oh. Well, that's lame. Thrill the hunt. Coming out, Songwon. He's got that Dark Passage to take him out to safety. Specian fishing around near the mid lane, but Mickey is not nearby. So
I'm
he's
sad
just
we
gonna
didn't
go
get
back and catch that wave.
I'm sad we didn't get a slow motion replay of Mickey flashing in.
I'm sad you haven't seen all of The Shining. So I guess we're even.
That's fair. I fly a lot nowadays, so I do watch classic movies on the plane because a lot of the newer movies leave a lot to be desired.
All right, well, next time, you know, you're on a plane and they happen to have The Shining,
I will watch.
then check it out, as long as you're not sitting next to a small child.
Promise made to the OGN Legion. We'll check out The Shining if available.
You would definitely horrify that child, and I don't think their parent would appreciate it very much.
Maybe they'll be watching, you know, Surf's Up or whatever other DreamWorks/Disney movie is on there.
Flash forward. Oh, Flash answered.
Good flash for Flash, though, on the side of the ROX Tigers.
Definitely take that one if you're Key. Get that away from the core Key, make him even more vulnerable. Now just has to rely on that very short Valkyrie to get himself out to safety. And you can see Fly been struggling quite a bit. 15 CS down. Still working on multiple components for the Trinity Force. Doesn't have the Sheen or the Phage done yet.
They haven't even seen top lane at all. No action, I guess. Maybe the OGN themselves finally learned. He's like, nope, don't need to watch this lane.
Yeah, we took like one quick glance at it, but other than that, it's been pretty much focused down around the mid and bottom lane, where there's been quite a bit of skirmishing.
My Kingdom for Ninja Tabi for ROX Tigers when you see this lineup, and 2 people have got them so far.
Yeah, Linderong and Songwon both sporting that.
I miss Ninja Tabi Graves, AD carry back in the day. When you just have the most armor, especially on release when I think he had 50 from the True Grit passive back then.
I remember when Graves was an ADC.
Man, I think everyone remembers Mafia Graves auto attack. That was some smooth stuff. It's not the same when he walks around with his shotgun nowadays.
Yep. I enjoyed my my Riot Graves skin that I had.
No, not bad. Riot skin line never really did it for me. Never as creative as I was hoping for. Didn't like the Nasus one very much.
I think it was the first one that I got, and then I had Graves. I think I actually have all of them.
First was Singed, maybe?
That's the only one I don't have. You're right, is Singed.
Singed was cool because it had a different color poison before other skins did. So I'll take that back. The Singed one was cool. I forget if it was. I think it was orange. I don't think it was purple.
That sounds.
I think it was orange. I forget.
I'll trust your memory over mine.
Oh, solo kill.
Okay. Well, we were too busy looking at Key running through the jungle.
When your flash was down on Fly, you'd think he would be able to get out nonetheless, but nice stuff there. We'll have to get a look at that in a second with a replay. OGN Observer also feeling the 11 p.m.
That's going to be the first brick coming through as ROX takes down that mid-tier 1 Prey, just having that turret nowhere near dead.
And a Youmu's, no more attack speed on that item. He's popped it just for movement speed, I guess.
Songwon used his ultimate. Arrow back down, and that's enough to force Crash back off of the blue buff.
Happy thing for ROX is that when Longzhu set up for a siege, which they're powerful in doing, I talked about the 4-1 with Camille, who for now has kind of been held together.
Oh dear.
Fly juked most of it, but just ended up being brute force down. Mickey picking up double buffs earlier, stacking's going well, now kills are going well.
I mean, playing that far forward into Mickey at the moment just seems ill-advised. He's got the Abyssal Scepter, went straight for that one. So he's going to be mitigating a lot of that MR coming through from the Hex Drinker, and then there's no Trinity Force yet there for Fly. No tier 2 boots.
Mickey's a lot of things, but conservative is not one of them. He will take an opening if he sees it. Yeah, ROX Tigers, again, winning this series in any manner. Won't be the 2-0 that they could have afforded. My goodness, that was a long ride there.
Yeah.
But it's looking increasingly like they're, so far, been very solid in their setups. Longzhu do have very good siege, but then, you know, Ash Arrow, Flash from Key, Maokai teleport. There is answers to the very powerful siege from Longzhu, and they missed their windows in game 1, and they haven't quite missed them yet, but we're getting there.
Oh. Girl's got to be careful, doesn't want to get it hooked. Throw down the ward, they'll clear it. So he'll be playing back. We'll just have to keep our eyes on Prey for when that damage really starts rolling through. Hasn't gone for the Mana Immune completion yet, starting off with the Youmu's Ghostblade. And getting some grievous wounds in there as well. So, going to be seeing that Mortal Reminder coming in. But ROX should have a hard time getting onto this turret, just given the wave clear. For now, they still hold the upper hand. 2,200 gold in the lead. And turret line still not broken by Longzhu. This is looking reminiscent of game 1 so far.
Might be wondering why we see the Grievous Wounds on Varus in particular, who's more about spells rather than auto attacks. It does apply on all types of physical damage, so even when you're poking off the screen with the Q from Varus, you are still proccing the healing reduction, and Cassiopeia, Rengar, and Maokai all heal pretty consistently through fights, so another good purchase. I'm happy to see this item crop up more and more early, like you mentioned earlier, very cheap, and healing reduction is one of those things you don't necessarily see very clearly because of all the action going on in the fight, but in terms of value, I think it provides a lot more, you'd imagine. Crash spotted out in his recall.
Yep, won't be interrupted though. He'll make it out of there safely, but still this bottom turret remains standing for the ROX Tigers.
Remember, a lot of the pathing in the previous game was around the Camille lane, and we just haven't seen Expression and Crash in the same quadrant this game. Therefore, we haven't seen the turret dive or the early turret takes. Got the turrets down pretty fast in the first game, but no turrets so far for Longzhu Gaming in a Siege comp is once again worrying times.
Do they go for this blast cone? Looks like the answer is yes. Mickey coming over the wall. Be able to take away these smaller Krugs, and now Expression is between a rock and a hard place. Can they get onto him? Fly has the roam up. You can see Key faster to arrive than Gorilla is.
Brute forcing this pretty hard, Achilles.
Yep, Bola not going to connect. Expression diving forward. He's going to go ahead, throws down the ultimatum onto Songwon. Can't make it out of here, but can they kill Expression in time? Looks like the answer is yes. Mickey comes up with a kill. Ash Arrow flying through, connects onto Gorilla, locking him up. And Mickey is just firing away with the Twin Fang. Splashes forward. The exhaust comes through from Fly, but it's not enough. That's still going to be Gorilla going down. They follow up with a kill onto Fly. What a travesty for Longzhu. 3 members go down. That's going to be another turret falling as well. Prey completely on his own in the bottom lane. Can't do much else other than answer with a tier 1 turret. The ROX, they are really starting to roll.
And they just continue to disrespect Mickey in particular. Now 5-1 on the Cassiopeia. Turning on to Baron soon is going to become reality. Obviously spawns in 20 seconds, but with Cassiopeia this far ahead, Maokai to tank it up. Ash also good at Baron. Very good Baron take here from ROX. And you look at Longzhu, and okay, this is very, very transparent what they want to do in terms of the dive, but Cassio is so strong at this point in the game. Why are they opting into this fight when Varus is happily picking up an objective in bot? It could have just been an objective trade with ROX spending more members, solo gold, and experience going on to the Varus, but I think Longzhu saw an outplay that just wasn't on the cards, wasn't realistic, and well punished by ROX Tigers.
Big botched play there, now 3,000 gold.
Pop down that control ward, and we're getting out of order in terms of damage from Mickey this early in the game.
Yes, we are. He is considerably further ahead than anybody else on the side of Longzhu. Still just have that 1 kill, whereas Mickey, he's 6 out of 8 on kill contribution. 5 of those are killing blows.
40 CS up.
Yeah. He's just absolutely destroying.
Gotta like a man who plays the Corki twice and then plays into the Corki and dominates the Corki. This is Mickey on form today. Always one of the most fun players to watch in the league. And yep, turning on to Baron. They do it so fast. Don't have any Drakes that help it, but you cannot give it second for the ROX Tigers.
Vision's denied by that control ward. Crash is starting to push in, tries to get Vision. Does he want to go for this one? Jumps into the pit. Can he go for the
He got it!
He actually smites it away! He's going to pay for this one with his life, though, but can Longzhu, the rest of them, make it out alive? Looks like the answer is yes. ROX not going to be able to pursue any further, so they come up with a miracle steal. Is it enough to keep them in this game? Is the next question. There's another Infernal Drake coming up, Papa. The stars might just be aligning for Longzhu with this one.
A Crash went on a suicide mission, dodged 2 skill shots, both the Ash Arrow and also the hook. This was definitely some secret agent stuff. Goes past 2 skill shots that would have interrupted his ability to get over. We'll watch the health bar. 797 as he Qs and also smites. Really precise stuff from Crash. Super clutch play from him. Hasn't done anything else in the game, but you'll excuse his early game when he steals the Baron like that.
Yeah. So gold lead still going to be there, gets shrunk just ever so slightly.
But it buys time, Achilles. Suddenly now the sieging team has a Baron, which they can't use ideally. Sieging a Baron against a siege team is great. A Baron with a siege team is just as strong. But because they're so far behind, they're still going to be pretty damn worried about Mickey catching them somewhere.
But now, second Infernal Drake is spawning. You can see all of ROX, aside from Linderong, hovering down around this pit. Crash is already inside.
Remember,
He'll be clearing out this vision as best as he can.
ROX fight better around Drake than Longzhu do, so you can still get the catch and win a fight against Baron's never ideal. And
Chunking out Mickey. Yeah, package no longer available. Songwon going on a
Ash
hunt,
Arrow
jumps in
Gorilla.
onto Crash. Ash Arrow does connect straight into the death sentence. Gorilla going low. He will get taken out. Mickey almost falls though. So he will be shoved out of the fight. Sebastian arrives with the TP, but can't find a target. Longzhu still pinging onto this dragon. Would be so risky, as they do not have a very tanky front line compared to Linderong.
Only lost Gorilla, and Mickey's out of the fight, so they still feel strong enough to do it. They're rushing down.
Well, Songwon, he invested his flash for that. So big investment comes up short. Now double Infernal Drake for Longzhu. Still have several Baron buffs available, but they are starting to tick away. So this might not be anything more than a slight gold bump for them unless they can knock down some structures. Mid-tier 1 would obviously be great for them. We'll see where they want to go next. Crash and Expression waiting in the brush. They don't know.
We could see a lot of fireworks in a second.
Oh,
Here we go.
here comes Expression jumping straight in over the wall. Gets on top of Mickey, but he brings him in a big petrifying gaze. Expression will stay alive, but Crash gets destroyed.
1 for 1. You get rid of a Baron buff. We couldn't see if the shield was used. I'm guessing no from Mickey, because he went down very quickly. He didn't actually get the Seraph's Embrace shield off during the fight. So
I think he just bought it.
No, he had it previously.
Oh, did he
He's
resell?
moving items and
Oh,
he's doing weird stuff there, but he definitely had it for the fight.
Okay, I just saw it pop into his inventory for a second there. I thought
He was
maybe
isolated and just took more burst than he expected. If he had managed to live through that burst, I think they would have turned it around for a 2 for 1.
Also, had to use the exhaust. So, a decent catch there for Longzhu. Just inching victories. Take another look at this one with full vision.
Let's look at the burst damage. So he hasn't used it yet. He doesn't use it yet. He needed to use it here. Didn't use it. Took a lot of burst damage and died. It's a 1 for 1 when Baron buffs are involved. I guess you could say that Crash didn't have Baron buff because he died, so they don't actually lose a Baron buff in that situation.
That's true.
But still, recalls come through. They don't push an objective. More objectives live, the happier ROX are, despite obviously being frustrated at giving up Baron.
Yeah. Longzhu, they've gotten back a little bit of gold, but nothing in the way of objectives outside of that Infernal Drake. Especially now, looking to trade onto Linderong. Roam down's coming through from Crash. They could definitely kill this Maokai. He's going to go ahead, flash away. Crash comes in, throws out the spikes. With the dash forward on the hook shot, they throw down the ultimatum, and he will fall. Expression doing some work here with this Camille. So nicely done. They get rid of him, and that's just going to keep the split push going down in the bottom lane as Expression's going to be looking for that tier 2 turret. We'll definitely knock it down quickly with that Trinity Force.
Looking to trade objectives here. No point for ROX to recall. They cut through the enemy jungle. They can still make picks of their own. Ash Arrow is available.
And Key has been very accurate with the hooks. See him looking for something in the back. Maybe on the fly. Death Sentence comes through. Not going to connect. Key takes a lot of damage. Meanwhile, Expression still chunking out this turret. Crash going to go in for the recall, try to support his team. They will be trading the bot for the top tier 2. So, equal exchange.
Not all bad from the perspective of ROX, who made something happen even when they lost their top laner in the bot lane. Baron buff had timed out, so no bonus objectives to the side of Longzhu. But still tense. You called it when you talked about the second Infernal Drake and potentially giving Longzhu a lifeline. They still have very tricky team fights to execute. They still have limitations. A little bit less pronounced than Game 1 when they didn't even have the likes of a Braum to put down vision or provide any safety. Shen was split pushing, so it wasn't relevant in that particular regard. But still very tricky to execute here for Longzhu. In ROX, they got Maokai Rengar. Pretty clear what they're going to do in team fights. To me, I've been more impressed with ROX's vision than Longzhu's. They've been very good at sticking control wards and pushing up, denying vision.
Something surprising considering Gorilla, being on the side of Longzhu. Historically, he's been quite good at garnering vision for his team.
It's not necessarily night and day, but more impressed, all things considered, for ROX.
Oh, especially he's in bottom lane. All of ROX Tigers are starting to wrap around behind him.
And you just turret dive him here.
Yeah, this could be a really rough spot.
Cassio gives up because they're rushing through mid. Nice rotational play from Longzhu.
He's going in onto Linderong. He's doing a lot of damage. He might actually just be able to win that 1v when he can see that the Maokai is just going to go ahead and peel back. Now all of ROX starting to hightail it up towards the mid lane, but
that's so important.
It's already down.
So important for Expression to be able to draw the team like he did there. Sucked in multiple members of ROX. Longzhu take the free mid lane turret. Good rotation from them. They're keeping it up. If Expression runs the bot lane and continues to draw multiple members, this is just not how Maokai versus Camille worked when we saw Katie Rolster play it. It's not surprising given the golf and quality between the two teams, but it's all about making plays with the Maokai rather than just letting the Camille have free time, because she is still a super prominent sped pusher.
Yep, and we're seeing that in action here. As he just keeps up the pressure, we'll see who is going to be drawn away by ROX, because clearly Linderong cannot stick around. Even with a Maelstrom up, he still takes a considerable amount of damage from Expression, who is getting pretty fearless here, as that Negatron cloak to mitigate a lot of the AP damage that the Maokai can put out. You have to assume that it will be a GA. Expression finding Songwon. Not sure if he wants this fight. He's just going to hook shot a short distance, get himself away from Songyun in case he throws out that Ash Arrow.
So you might wonder, why does Shen do so much better in this matchup than Maokai? Things with Shen are that when you taunt, you get the physical damage reduction, which, sure, the true damage proc doesn't get relevant there.
Also buying time while you're in ultimatum.
That's a lot of damage onto Songyun. We talked about Prey's accuracy, not been as on show in this particular game, but can be very devastating as the Double Infernal starts to interact with his item build. But the other thing also is that he has an on-demand escape. He has the taunt to get away that Maokai doesn't have. Maokai can only re-engage. It's probably going to be a return to the build we saw before. The Caulfield's Warhammer in the inventory to get to 40% CDR towards it,
then
but also
capped out.
Yeah, can turn it into the Death Stance. I know that Deft likes that build. 75 AD, and then the off chance that sustain is relevant.
Well, Thrill the Hunt coming through. Songwon looking for a target. Gorilla's going to eat that Asher. He's going to be the one getting locked up right in the forefront of the fight. Ultimatum thrown down, but they can't pop the target. Gorilla will fall, and now Longzhu having to kite back a bit. Prey's still firing off these piercing arrows from behind. Mickey
Misses.
Not going to get anything with that petrifying gaze. That was the flash investment as well, so he is much more vulnerable now. Expression dashes over the wall, but can't close the distance to get on top of the Rengar.
No ultimatum available, did use it in that fight, so the re-engage not really a potential for Longzhu.
All things considered, they lose Gorilla, but they will pick up this Ocean Drake. But you can see Prey really starting to turn these fights with how much damage he's able to deal. And it's just going to get even more crazy here as that Muramana finishes stacking up. Have to expect that that should be coming through relatively soon as we're over 30 minutes.
Ash has had the most consequential 0-3-2 jungle performance that we've seen in a long time. First the steal, then also securing the second Infernal has bought time for scaling.
They're starting this up.
Do a lot of damage to it. It's going to draw a teleport already.
Yeah, Longzhu knows
He's going to be out of the fight here.
Expression's coming in. Yeah, Key is already so weak and fly. Waiting over the wall. Crash
not
not
there
nearby
yet.
though. Expression goes in, gets on top
Buying
of Songyun.
time.
He's trying to get rid of him. He's not able to do so. Songwon's still inside Linderong, trying to lock up Crash. He's going to jump into the pit. Can he
He's
come up
gonna
with a
get it again,
second one?
isn't he?
No, it's
No,
not.
he's not.
It's actually taken by Linderong in the end. Gorilla goes low, but already 3 members of ROX Tigers have died. Let's make that 4 as Linderong is the last remaining one alive. They almost come up with the ace. Linderong trying to kill Prey. He's going to have to kite back a little bit so he doesn't lose his life. There we go. The final piercing arrow comes up with the ace. They don't have the Baron, but there's no buffs available for ROX Tigers and Longzhu. They're going to run it down mid.
Oh, ROX Tigers really mismanaged that Baron. They thought they could do it, but he gave up his life tanking for the Cassiopeia. And then Maokai was too early investing his flash and going over, so was still able to get the Carthage in there. And meanwhile, multiple members raining damage from far away, no health bars on the side of ROX to tank it up. They're going to lose an inhibitor. Sure, they picked up the Baron gold, but no more than that. It's no longer an objective on the map, one of the most difficult objectives for Longzhu to 5v5 fight around. And this might have been the momentum swing to cap off the first seal. So we get to see the replay.
I want to see this takeaway by Linderong.
So he must have just, I guess maybe the W because it does max HP damage. So he goes straight in onto Crash, but because it's not focused down, Baron's still relevant by the time it comes in.
He got it with a sapling.
Of all things, a sapling. Pretty cruel, but Longzhu still win the fight. Camille in the backline running wild. No one focusing down either AD carry. Sure, Linderong did 1 round of damage to Prey, but that's it. No more than that. It will just turn around and ROX caused the chaos by hard forcing the Baron, and then the Chaos allowed both Fly and Prey to have basically free target selection in the oncoming fight.
Yep. Oh dear, well how things have changed so rapidly in this game. Longzhu now having the gold lead coming through, but again, it's only just a couple thousand, 3.2 thousand gold in the lead. Ashero coming through, Expression, nice juke down.
Side step there.
Will not get hit by that, takes the hook shot over the wall, and
Fans
he
like
stays
that
alive.
One. Fans like that one a lot. Expression will continue to apply pressure in the bot side. The rest of his team, the 4-1 we talked about, is finally happening. A lot later than expected, because Longzhu, like game 1, fell well behind with a poke comp. Siege comp, perhaps. But it's just a waiting game. Camille is a monster in the side lane. For now, she's walking over because they're actually looking to set up the mid lane minion wave to push in.
Yep, can get that going rather quickly. And it's a tactical sweep to just go ahead and help clear those out on top of the Titanic Hydra. So the push speed is rather large.
Has no hope against the Hextech ultimatum. There's no real itemization outside of a Guardian Angel that he couldn't afford to build, needed damage. No way to get out, so target selection very clear for Expression in the fight.
Yep. Death Stance has been completed for Prey, as well as the Muramana finished stacking up.
Just so much AD. 75 AD is a lot.
Keep an eye on these piercing arrows. That one does not connect. Expression jumping over the wall yet again, trying to stay away from Songwon.
I'm sure pretty much brute forcing this. The minion wave isn't where it needs to be in mid for there to be multi-lane pressure.
Recall from Mickey Linderong interrupts his in time, but yeah, the wave's not here.
Bot lane wave also 40 seconds away from getting to the inhibitor.
Will have to be answered. Meanwhile, you can see they just have to peel back away from this, respecting the power that Longzhu has. So they take that out. All of the outer turrets now gone. It's just the inhibitors remaining inside the base of ROX Tigers. In a very precarious spot. 4,000 gold in the lead is Longzhu. But they're not out of the woods yet. Still 35 minutes in. Death timers aren't as long as they could be, so if they come up with an ace, they might not be able to finish the game.
Next time the old flash from Mickey comes out, I think it needs to be a 3-fer. I think it needs to be a massive one. There's no QSSs, only on Braum on the side of Longzhu. So a lot of targets for Mickey to potentially open up a fight. He's going to be the most frustrated one. A wonderful start for him, 7-1 early in the game. Smite slowed the game, and then ROX really mismanaged the second Baron. Trademark 2016 Afrika fashion, sad to say. And now we're, a fight away from Longzhu winning the game, after it looked pretty inevitable that if ROX just didn't make a huge mistake, or in this case a series of huge mistakes, then things would have gone their way.
Yep. And Expression, I think he's making a very solid case for himself as far as MVP is concerned if he's able to win this game. So much pressure being output by him.
Sort of player who returns Camille even when she's toned down from must-pick, must-ban status. Fits his champion pool oh so sweetly.
See how long before that status hits us.
A couple more nerfs, I think. She does too much and has too much extra utility and damage and CC on her kit, so trim some of that and becomes a lot more situational.
Songwon here taking quite a bit of damage and poke between the piercing arrows and the rockets. Expression all alone in that top lane as the Elder Dragon is spawning here in 3 minutes. Baron's up in a minute and a half.
Now the vision is so shallow that you're never going to get the Maokai plays that Smeb was able to make around the map to force things, while Camille leisurely takes all your objectives. And obviously, he can do nothing one-on-one against the Camille, so we've seen the good side and the bad side of tanks versus Camille today. A few times, actually.
Dragon's been started up. Expression working his way back in towards mid. He's just going to be looking for that inhibitor. Linderong cannot go join the team. Hawk shot coming through. Songwon gets on to Crash, works him down to half HP. Flash over the wall. Petrifying Gaze not going to lock anybody up. They go straight in on a Mickey. The exhaust comes through. 2 hits away. Beautifully timed Glacial Fissure pops him up and he goes down. Crash claiming the kill. Songwon almost losing his GA. Sung Yoon gonna lose his life. Double kill coming in for Crash. Can he make it a triple? Answer is no, because Fly is gonna take that one away. He's trying to hunt down this Rengar, pops the Gatling gun. Songwon gonna try to run away with his life. What little of it left he has. GA's still there. But now Longzhu can just move forward, break more of the base of ROX Tigers.
Yeah, probably not going to be the game end here. Feels like it could have been the fight to do it, but...
Check the Wolves. Oh, there you
got
go.
the vision.
Got the GA. Nicely done. It's going to be a really staggered death here.
20 seconds on Songyun. Only Lindra. Maybe it is the time, Achilles. Maybe they can finally do it.
I think with stopping the back there from Songwon, they might just have it. The first Nexus turret will go down. A second one gonna follow suit. Longzhu, 38 minutes. Bit of a rough start here, but with the steal coming through from Crash, they come up with the victory. They'll keep the ball rolling. Another 2-1 victory to this team.
Weird to be able to surmise exactly what the verbiage should be to celebrate Longzhu's victory. I don't know about well-deserved. ROX Tigers mismanaged what should have been a series win for them. Good game one. Game three, they had the lead. Mickey was massive, but it didn't count in the end, and Longzhu eke out with all the points, and that's kind of the cruel thing of a best of three compared to a best of two. This was the trademark 1-1 best of two, but instead it will be all the points over to Longzhu Gaming. It extends their match-winning run to 3. But a lot to correct on their end, and certainly a lot to correct for the ROX Tigers.
Yep. So BBQ, Kongdu Monster, and now ROX Tigers, and you can see Mickey got off to such a strong start in this game. You can't help but feel for him right now.
I mean, we talked about the stats pre-game. Second highest damage share of any player in the league behind Teddy.
And I'm sure that's still supported here in this game. He was doing some really big work on that Cassiopeia, but as we got into the mid-game, when Longzhu started dragging it back, the petrifying gazes just were not connecting.
And you feel for the guy. When he was on Afrika, the word behind the scenes was that he ended up putting a lot of pressure on himself to carry, and his performances really started to suffer. Everyone could see that it wasn't the summer season for him, and didn't end up going over. At one point was rumored for Origin, not necessarily saying that would have been the best place, but he didn't find a new roster. He basically finds a lot of the old roster, and the team name changes, some of the names around him change, but feels like it's still the same place for Mickey. Played his heart out, really good in the early game. Sure made some mistakes to the end, but so did his team. And Longzhu with all the smiles, and ROX with not much to show for themselves.
Yep. So just another point tacked on for Longzhu. They will maintain that 4th place spot over top of BBQ, but are still a ways away from getting on top of Samsung. Actually, they might be tied with game score for Samsung now. But still, a lot of work to be done by both sides. ROX Tigers going to be stuck in that 8th place spot now.
We've had a lot of these curious games where either team comes out smelling like roses. KT Rolster, for example, early in the season, which is why SKT was looking so good. Then SKT found real hard opposition and fell down. Looking at damage numbers, predictably, Corki and Varus does plenty of them. Camille numbers are actually pretty high, but that's just what happens when Camille's against a tank that can't even run away like Shen, just has to.
It's just a big punching bag.
Yeah, just a big punching bag. As you say, the Pinata, I guess,
Yeah.
was the Maokai. Found some nice candy in the form of victory from that tank in this game.
It's the best candy.
Rare candy for Longzhu sometimes, but not so much recently. And how about an MVP as well, Expression?
It did work out. It got them a +1. So the rare candy indeed. Expression will go ahead and net himself another MVP nomination. So 50% kill contribution this time around. Not quite as high, but still so much pressure being drawn into the side lanes.
I did misspeak. Of course, Marin is on the top 5. So one top laner there, but so far dominated by other lanes. Not been the 3 out of the top 5 top laners. It's been very recently. Expression joining him now as well. Really nice stuff on this champion, which, again, you know Expression. He saw Camille release, he saw the patch notes, he was like, this is a champion I could play. This is my jam over here.
I'm sure a lot of people have had those thoughts, but haven't been fortunate enough to get it 3 times. Expression has actually got the highest select rate on the Camille so far in LCK. I don't think we've seen anybody else get it that many times, so.
It does feel like Camille will be left open more and more, but if Expression can keep putting in shifts like this, then even after the power is trimmed from her kit, it's always going to be a consideration for him.
We start seeing it banned on blue side against him.
Stranger things have happened, Achilles.
Oh, boy. Well,
This is where
he may get the MVP, but you do have to give a lot of credit over to Crash. That
Yep.
Baron steal absolutely what kept Longzhu in this game and allowed them to swing back into a lead. So poor performance to start things off here, but you know, he's
They
there
got
when
the
it
points.
counts.
They got the points. The what ifs will be real for ROX Tigers.
Yep. Oh dear. All right, well, we're gonna go ahead, throw over to Joel for the translation on our MVP interview, so go ahead, take it away.
Thank you very much, guys. I am Joel with your last translation of the day. We are here with Longzhu Gaming, who picks up a comeback 2-1 victory against ROX Tigers, and we are here with the MVP for both rounds. We are here with Expression for the MVP interview. Expression, how do you feel after that victory? I didn't think this this matchup would have been this fierce as it was. You had a chance to play Camille 2 times in a row today. How was it? Yeah, fortunately my other laners stood up well, and that allowed me to take the advantage over the other top laner. And it's nice to play Camille. It was a comeback win for you guys. Losing the first match could have put a hit on your mental status, but how did you overcome that situation? We did feel that we were emotionally behind, but we always felt like, you know, if we operated the game one step at a time, and I feel like that was our win. And the key factor was, of course, that Baron play, where, you know, we got the big victory out of the team fight. Yeah, I think if we didn't get that Baron steal, you know, that would have been a really tough game for us to win, but very thankful to Crash to have picked that off. Were you not surprised by how aggressive Mickey was today? He was especially aggressive today. Yeah, I think Mickey was very aggressive today. He made a good use out of his TPs. And I think because of that aggressiveness, we were really pushed back. And it really took a lot out of us to recover back. And, you know, we took good situations and we made the best out of it. We also saw Zillion make the play and a lot of different things from Fly today. Yeah, our mid laner is a very talented guy, but I think, you know, there's more to show out of him, and there's more that he can show. And, you know, on practices he gets a very good win rate, so I hope he shows more in the future. So we have a highlight clip from the video and from the game, and we can look at and have a further discussion. And this is a situation where Shen couldn't handle the Camille. Yeah, I think the item distribution that he went with allowed me to split push a little bit easier. It just seems that that split push really, you know, opened you guys for a lot of options with the team composition. Yeah, I think I was very confident in my situation where I could team split, where I could split push very confidently. You know, and I could really, you know, draw the other team in while my other teammates make the better decisions to help contribute to the win. You know, I feel like I made the right decisions, you know, when to go in, when to come back out. And since you're the only MVP, we always ask that if you weren't the MVP today, who would you give the MVP to? I can think of 2 right now. Of course, everybody in my teammates worthy, but, you know, of those people, I would think of 2. I would like to give it to Crash and also the mid laner Fly. And I think looking at the overall game, I think that would give it to those 2. That's just my opinion of it. And it seems like there's been a lot of variety in the red side in the ban pick phase. What's the better side for you guys? Yeah, it's really a fight of confidence, whether you have the confidence and guts to, you know, leave open the OP champions. And but, you know, it's all about the team's, you know, aggressiveness and confidence that they can open up some certain champions. And what is the matchup against Maokai versus Camille? And I think Maokai should be able to hold up, but it's not the best pick overall into the Camille. And just Camille, with that mobility, is able to move around so much around the Maokai that Maokai doesn't have much room to make any plays. And I think it doesn't work against defending against the split push. I don't know if that video will come out, but we saw that Maokai making a pretty crazy play at the end. I didn't know that was actually happening around that Baron play that you're talking about. But you know, it was pretty crazy how the Maokai came in like that. There it is. Weren't you surprised that happened? I had no idea that happened. And Crash was the one that told us about it, and it was a situation where, you know, if we didn't make anything else out of that, we would have definitely lost the game. So we're glad that we made the best out of it. Especially as the only MVP today, would you like to say something to your fans out here staying all night, really late, cheering for you guys? I think we are getting better results now, and a lot of fan base is growing within our team. And the fact that I can be here as a solo MVP is a really honor to me. But you know, I think it's our team is just doing just a wonderful job lately, so I'm very thankful for them. And thank you for selecting me as the MVP today. And I would like to keep up this kind of performance until the until the next game. And that's the end of the interview. Back over to you guys.
Thank you very much, Joel. So yeah, I mean, if you can maintain this performance, I think it'd be a very big boon to Longzhu as they look to just continue climbing the standings. So as it stands right now, resting just below Samsung, I believe, as we will get the updated standings in a little bit, so we'll see where everyone lies at the end of today.
Cool that it's a trio of veterans to have the solo MVP interviews. First it was Marin, then Score, then Expression. All of them were playing competitive in 2013, all of them stood around in 2017. Here's our confirmation. ROX continue to bottom out now, actually below Jinair in game score, but have played one more match, whereas Longzhu solidify themselves at basically equal with Samsung. So
got tied up there because they did lose that game to Samsung, so the head-to-head does keep them in 4th place, but not dropping, not advancing, still just kind of stagnating there, but they have a comfortable lead over top of BBQ Oliver. So next matches is going to be tomorrow at the Gangnam Studio, brought to you by LS and Valdez. SK Telecom T1 versus BBQ Olivers, followed by Jinair Green Wings versus MVP, which should be a pretty even one, you have to say.
Our young ducklings are growing up. First time BBQ and Jinair are leaving us in the OGN studio. They're going over to Gangnam. Yep. Best of luck over there.
They still manage to play on the same day.
and Teddy are so young, you know? Like, they grow up so fast.
Yeah, I know. It's all right. If you love something, you got to let it go, and then if it loves you, it'll come back. I think that's how that
Hopefully
adage
by
goes.
Valentine's Day.
Yeah, maybe by Valentine's Day. We'll have to see. We don't have games on Valentine's Day here.
It's true.
Yeah, the Gangnam Studio has those. But we do have some good matches coming up next week. Starting things off, well, not starting things off, but on Thursday we have SK Telecom versus Samsung.
Oh, that's
so both of them having some pretty rattling losses. We'll see how they're going to compete when they go head-to-head. So definitely want to watch out for that one. Longzhu versus Afrika as well. We've seen that Afrika have proven
Where's Afrika at?
They very well could lose that game. Longzhu, sometimes they look absolutely on point. Sometimes they look a little wishy-washy. So we'll see which of those two teams is going to, which form is going to show up as they take on each other, because that could be the battle for 4th or 5th place, really.
Yeah, you definitely want to get as many points as possible to push into the playoff positions. We expect both of them to lie there in the top 5, but we'll have to wait and see.
That's going to close it out for us. We'll see you guys next week on a Wednesday. Have a good one, and check out the games tomorrow.